Welcome to the Two Bitter Babes podcast. Join Kimmy and Angela as they work to mend their tattered hearts. Get ready to get uncomfortable, because these two bitter besties are diving right in.
Thanks for joining us. Today we have a very special guest, very close and dear to my heart. I've known her entire life. So my cousin Chris is with us today, and she's gracious enough to share her story with us. So Chris, I'm going to let you go ahead and start about what happened.
Thank you for having me. I was married for about 10 years, happily married for 10 years. My now ex-husband had a stroke, and within days, we realized something was off. It was a hypersexuality that stroke patients change. Their switches get flipped, and he cheated. We worked through it through therapy. We were in California at the time, living a very glorious life, and moved back to the Midwest after to try to get back to our families and save money. And he cheated again. And then that was the end of the marriage. We've been divorced now 5 years.
5 years.
And I'm happy. I'm like really happy now. You know, my heart was broken at the time. So now I'm here, and I had to get myself back on my feet with my 3 children, which, by the way, it's interesting because we have this very crazy story where our children are his bio children, that when we married, I adopted my stepchildren, but they are my kids. I've raised them since they were 2 and 3, and they are now in their 20s.
Wow.
I remember they were all in diapers
and ponytails.
And they are your girls. They're yours. I've seen
They're
it.
mine.
So what did you learn, and how did you get through the heartache and betrayal?
It's not easy. And it's like, oh, I'm talking about it like it's so easy. And now I'm fine. I'm happy. But going through it, it sucks. It sucks so much. You're crying. You go through all the emotions. You're mourning this relationship that you had with your best friend. And then they betrayed you in the worst way. And, you know, like I said, the first time around was rough. I would wake up at 4 a.m. I would roll out of bed, climb around the bed, grab his phone, looking. Has he been texting anybody? Has he been Googling anything? Is he on any apps? And you don't want to live like that, where you can't trust somebody. And then we went to therapy, and then it was like, okay, things are better. But just pulling that BS, like, oh, I want to be in an open marriage. You know, like, I'm not doing this. But that's when I think it triggered him to go find the ladies. And he did. He was in the Bay Area, whoring himself out.
Oh, wow.
Spending our money and taking ladies to New Orleans, New York with our money. So I found out so many things about him at that point that I don't even know where our money was going. Yeah, I found out all kinds of stuff, and it was ugly. It was ugly.
So can I ask, was the stuff you found out and all of this stuff started all after the stroke, nothing prior to?
Exactly. And a lot of people, friends or family, were like, well, maybe he cheated prior. No, he didn't. He traveled for work, and I never in a million years distrusted anything. Every time I knew where he was, I always trusted him. After that, trust was gone. I tried to trust him after the first time, and we moved back to Illinois. I really did. And then it happened again, and then my red flags were going up again, and then I caught him, and he was like, I'm leaving. I can't do this. Oh, you can't do this. Okay. So, you know what it is? It's that whole, like he was just trying to railroad me. Like it was me. It's you. It's you, Chris.
Gaslighting.
He gaslit me. Yeah.
That's gaslighting.
You know, the funny thing is, one of the last things we said in our bedroom was the day after he left. And he's like, can I just give you a hug? And we hugged it out. And we were like, let's not be dicks to each other. Can we say that?
Yes.
Okay, cool. We were like, let's not be dicks to each other. Okay. And then we hugged it out. And while we were hugging, he wanted to give me a kiss. And he's like, this is why I don't want to leave. And I said, but I'll never trust you again. And he pulled back, and he's like, well, this is why we can't be together, because, you know, you can't trust me. Yeah. Then it was my fault that we can't be together.
That's narcissistic to the max.
Wow.
He was already like that prior to the stroke, but I think the stroke just
intensified it.
Yeah. But it's not even us. It's like our kids too. Our kids get drag,
Absolutely.
drag through the mud and it's horrible. It's horrible.
And that's why we're here.
That's why we're here.
Yeah. And to tell our story. They don't really think about how this affects everyone. I know in my situation that didn't happen, and definitely Angela, and doesn't seem like you either, Chrissy. So what do you think you took away from all of that? Let's hear about your lessons.
I think there are two major lessons. One is financial independence. For sure. Ladies,
yes,
if you're
for sure.
Financial independence is everything. I was a stay-at-home mom, totally dependent on his income. And then after the stroke, my financial instinct kicked back in like, we shouldn't be paying for a Tesla anymore, honey. Wink, wink, we need to stop. Let's sell it. And it's funny, when we married, I was like, I'm not used to this. I'm going to need my own account. And that was like poo-pooed. And coming out of it, I learned to take that all back, rein in my finances, the money that I got from the divorce in a very smart way. Then the other lesson is trust. So the one thing I took away was I absolutely made sure to tell myself that I was not going to let this mofo take away my trust from other people, my future partners, whoever.
Right.
That was the one thing I was not going to let him take from me. I mean, he screwed me over financially, putting me in debt and all this other stuff. I was left with the children. I took care of them until I'm still taking care of them. Shit, I'm still pitching into their college funds, and it's so much. But the trust thing, I wasn't going to let him take that from me.
I'm glad you mentioned that, because I felt the same way too.
You did?
I wasn't going to let that part of me get ruined. I still want to trust in people in the world. And the one thing that I found was I'm having a hard time just trusting myself and my decisions, because I feel like, I made this one decision and it ended up costing me 20 years of my life. And I thought it was the right decision. So now I'm just learning to trust myself again with just my own decision makings about my life. But yeah, that's another thing we talk about, Angela and I, is that financial independence.
It's everything.
It's tough.
Yeah.
And especially when you're like, yeah, let's make this deal. And then all of a sudden you're not combining incomes. They're not helping you prepare for your retirement anymore. And it's just like, holy shit. When this shit happened to me, I was scared for my future self. I'm still am. And I know Angela is too. So yeah, it's huge.
Well, you think about the financial impact of retirement. We're in our 50s, right? So we're 15 years-ish away from retirement. What now?
Yeah.
So I get it. We're like all plugging away and we're thinking, oh God, are we going to be working till we're 82? Am I going to live to 82? That kind of thing. What happens now?
And what happens if you are not doing well at 82? Who's going to...
Right.
You have 3 daughters, I only have 1, and I don't have any grandchildren.
That doesn't mean they're going to take care of us.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
We don't know, maybe they're going to hold grudges. Like, you didn't let me blah, 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 mom. So now fuck you, No, I got to take care of you.
Wipe your own ass.
Right. Sorry you can't reach, but I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. We're just making it happen, making the magic happen like we always do. Yeah.
I do have a question, if I may butt in here. So you did see some red flags before the stroke, and that the thing with the finances, that you wanted to have your own account, and that got poo-pooed. So now, knowing what I know, because I have a similar situation to yours, and I didn't know it was a red flag.
I don't know if it was a red flag. It was more of like me losing my independence, like me losing that little bit of financial independence, and it hurt. I actually had to go to therapy for like 2 years because my life changed incredibly. I was a business owner when we met. I had my own car. I had my own apartment, and then we get together and all of a sudden it's like, oh, and guess what? I have 3 kids. He never had custody of them. And then all of a sudden the kids get taken away from the ex-wife, and he gets a phone call. Did you know that your kids are in protective custody? And then we go out and buy 3 little IKEA beds to smash into this apartment. And that's how we grew, like instant soup, add hot water.
So let me ask, even though you didn't want to give up your independence financially, I can see why. No, I can't actually, because I lost my financial independence as well. But like, what got you into that slippery slope of, you know what I mean?
I do.
And listening to yourself, which I didn't do.
Because I don't feel like we had role models that taught us that.
Mm-hmm.
I only grew up with my mom, so I didn't see that. My mom was the financial independent. Kim knows our family is like all independent women. And then I was like, well, I think this is supposed to be the norm. I think this is the way it's supposed to be. That 1950s housewife bullshit. You know, we had this family, and I guess this is what you do for your family. You take the hit, and
right.
I'm raising the kids. I get money, and I didn't have an allowance or anything. I got to spend whatever I wanted, but I wanted my own money to decide what I wanted to do with it. And I didn't get to save. No money went to Social Security for 10 years for me. 10 years. I had to take a job for like $15 an hour to just get health insurance for our family. Now I'm in a nice job and good benefits, but it took a while to get there.
Well, good on you.
Women are like phoenixes. We rise from these ashes. We do. We just have no choice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know that I too was talked into a shared checking account, and I spent whatever I want, but within means. I didn't go out and buy a fucking yacht or anything like that, but I made sure we were within budget. I was very conscientious about my spending. I worked maybe part-time most of the time because we had this agreement of he was going to work, I was going to take care of everything, our animals, the house, the gardens. You know, he liked that his laundry was magically clean inside his drawers again. And I came out and was like, fuck.
Yeah.
And you're right. You feel like you take the hits for your life that you're trying to build together, and making all these agreements, and okay, it's not what I really want to do, but this is what you do. You sacrifice for your family. And I'm just wondering, should we?
Yeah.
Well, I think we're 3 examples here.
Of
right?
Yes.
Why not to? Right.
Yes. Have your own checking account.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said in our very first podcast, being an RN is not my dream job, but did it save me? Yeah.
Yeah.
Financially, so far, it's just saving me.
Yeah.
Good.
I'd like to hear a little more about how you've been recovering in whatever way, financially, emotionally, with your relationships with your daughters, anything you want to share about that, because there's a lot of people we come out of these going, how am I going to pick up the pieces?
Right.
And I think you sound like a hopeful example of how to pick up the pieces.
I was very fortunate in my marriage. When we sold our house in California, we sold it for double what we paid for it. So when we came here, that was me saving our finances, pack this shit up. Let's move back to the Midwest where it's cheaper. We'll be by our family. And what did we do? We came here, we bought a house with cash, a smaller house. So we don't have to worry about a mortgage. We just pay for the taxes, the kids. I'll go get some shit job, whatever I need to do to get the insurance. So I was fortunate that the house was paid in cash. So then when we separated, it was like, I just want the agency. I want the business. You can have the house. Like it was a piece of trash. And I was like, all right, knowing it's paid off. So then I bought a smaller house, paid cash for this house. And then I took that rest of that money and paid all my debts off. I invested some of it, and I'm fortunate. And I know I am fortunate because I know women come out of divorces in horrible situations.
Yeah. You didn't squander that fortune, and you were really, really smart with it. We just have to just make sure that we're smart with whatever our situation ends up being. Yes.
That's a good point. I didn't just piss it away. I didn't go out and buy all my Birkin purses. And I thought about my future. I didn't put away for my 401k. I didn't have anything at that point. Like this was it. Right. What do I do with this money right now?
And that is important because, like in my case, I came out of the rubble of my marriage financially illiterate. So I took a personal finance course and opened up my own Roth IRA and just started like, okay, I don't have a job that has a 401k, but I'm just going to start something. I just had to learn it. I had to learn it for self-preservation. So I think it's important that you're sharing what you did with the resources that you were fortunate to have, getting the other house, your 401k, because some people don't even know that those are options.
Right.
If you don't have the resources, it's still important to know how to educate yourself so that you can know how to get the resource. And then what do you do with the resource so that they can last you as long as possible?
Exactly. And how do I get there and not be homeless? You know,
we talk about being bag ladies on the street all the time
with our Birkin, our one little Birkin bag, but we'll be
very fancy.
Yeah.
And where you're at, it's too cold to be a bag lady, man, in the winter.
Seriously, the Midwest sucks. I'm moving in 5 years. I got to go somewhere warm. Yeah.
Yep. That's my goal.
Eventually, I'll sell this and figure out where I'm going. I don't know.
And you don't have to know right now. That's what Kimmy and I always talk about. If we start looking too far ahead and we scare ourselves, like, what am I doing right now? We're doing okay. And then if an opportunity presents itself, we can make a decision then. We don't have to figure it out right now.
Yeah.
Still scares me though. I'm still terrified.
Absolutely. But we don't have a choice. We deal with it. I take it one day at a time. And then I also am thinking about the future. You know, it's like that balance.
So Chrissy, I have to ask you, since we are from the same family, what type of generational trauma do you think anything from grandma passed on to us? Because I think so.
You're probably right. I don't know exactly. What I know is that grandma was a hustler. I feel like they're all hustlers. They were just doing what they had to do to feed their kids, keep an apartment, heated, clothed kids, food on the table. And I think things were tight because a lot of them were single. I just think that they hustled to get it done.
And I feel like it was always just trying to survive another day. It's almost like forced independence.
They didn't have a choice.
We have come from a family of, so it was our grandma, and then there were 5 aunties and 1 uncle. So there were 6. Yeah. And our moms are sisters. So my thing is, I felt the same way up until my marriage was always survival mode, because I followed suit, had a child at a pretty young age. So I was just always on survival mode. And now I'm back in survival mode again. But at the same time, I am now free to do whatever I want. And now that I'm free to do that, I'm just like, oh, scared. Make a decision about anything. I just feel like it's all this generational trauma, and then looking back at my childhood and why I chose the person I did for 20 years. And a lot of it is just having emotionally avoidant parents, but married an emotionally avoidant man was what I knew, was what I recognized. That's why I was just getting that question. But you guys seem to do so well prior to the stroke.
Yeah, we were really, really happy. Like, I'm not saying it was perfect. It was a little absent father. You put a little pressure on me to do more, but then that was the mom's job. But again, I didn't know any better because honestly, he was my first real big relationship.
Same.
Yeah. In my mid-30s, early 30s, I guess. I just thought this is how it's supposed to be. I'll be honest with you. Like, my mom dated, but didn't really bring men home. And so I was always awkward around men. And I think it's because I was really only surrounded by females. Like, all the time. The only males I was around were our cousins, the 2 boys. That's it.
That's true. It's a female-dominated family for sure.
These boys didn't have a chance in our family. They didn't have a chance.
All these women having their periods around me.
What to expect from a relationship? I mean, I really didn't, but I met him and it worked out. Like, I rolled with it.
Right. Just not having like really good role models in the sense of what is a really good relationship. What is that? And I didn't have that. I just had chaos and dysfunction constantly. So this person I didn't have chaos and dysfunction with in the beginning, and it was really quiet, and we were into doing the same things and having all this fun. And then all of a sudden one day it was just like, no, it's not fun to me anymore. Bye. And I wish a lot of things. That's what I rolled into, a whole lot of silence.
Yeah.
And I wish I had witnessed what an uncomfortable but loving conversation looked like, where you're still trying to have connection with the other person and speak to each other in a loving manner, that these are what we need to talk about. These are hot topics, but let's do this in a loving way and come meet in the middle somewhere. I didn't have that, so I didn't know that that was what you should do. I would express my needs and wants, and it felt like I was being the mean one and, making these, they weren't even demands. I was just trying to reach out. And I would get silence. And that was his punishment for me, was silence. The silence was my punishment. And it became to the point of where, well, I'm not going to bring this up because I'm going to piss him off, or he's going to feel irritated. Like, you could just tell that from his energy. And then so I started becoming silent. And Christy, you've known me for my whole life. I don't think I was ever the silent type.
No.
I lost a lot of myself in that relationship, and I'm finally starting to find her again. So that's been my struggle. Do you have anything that you can mention to us that was a struggle for you once you came out of this rubble?
I think the struggle was the relationship. Angela brought it up earlier, the kid. And I've always been like, you need to contact your children, like contact your kids. What is the problem here? Angela, I'm seeing you shaking your head. I know you're feeling it with me, right? What is going on? Right? They're not communicating with their kids.
Like Kimmy was saying, it's avoiding uncomfortable conversations. It's avoiding taking responsibility for your actions. One of the last things I told my ex was, please get better and reach out to your kids. They need their dad. And that didn't happen. So I just think, and I'll never know, but I just think he's too terrified to confront them and just be like, I'm really sorry about what I did and how it affected you. Or just trying to say, like, the conversations I've had with them, like, I'm really sorry. I wasn't always kind and respectful. I did my best, but that doesn't mean that I didn't meet you where you were at times, or meet your needs, and I only do that because my parents weren't able to do that for me. And I know that's what I needed. And so I give that to my kid.
Agreed. My ex-husband, I wish he thought what you think your ex-husband thinks. I think mine is more of I'm too arrogant to address this. And I think that just is so sad because it's about him. And the kids went to therapy too. And the therapist would tell the kids, you're the child. He's the adult. He's the one that's supposed to reach out to you.
Agreed.
And I would tell him, reach out to the girls. It's like, I don't even know what to say. I don't know. How was school? How are your grades?
Start a conversation.
What's happening? Who are you hanging out with?
Pretend like you're interested in their life.
Pretend.
Right. Insert self here. It's not hard. And he just wouldn't. And then finally I just said, you know what? Why don't you take him to dinner? So it was like right after the separation. And it took like 3 months for him to take them out to dinner and just talk to them.
And I also think too, they don't want to have that conversation, or he doesn't, just because he would have to face a lot of truths about himself. And he can't just be like, okay, sorry about that. Let's move on. No, that's not how it works. You have to listen to what they want to say to you. And it might not be something you want to hear. And that could be what is scary, because it may be you were such a dick at that time. I can stand you. What the fuck is your problem? It just sounds like that's not what he wants to hear.
Yeah, they don't want to hear that shit. One of my kids is very verbal and would tell him, well, what about this? And how about this? And why did you do this? And you said this. And he would just go off on her. He would attack her because he didn't feel that she had a place to have any feelings about any of it. Mm-hmm. And so to this day, she calls him by his first name. She will not call him father, dad, nothing. And they all call him by his name now. And it was horrible. So they have no relationship at all anymore.
So my
Nothing.
daughter doesn't talk to my ex anymore either. She's after over a year, she's like, I'm just done with you. Because she would tell him exactly how she felt, and he just never would have that conversation. He would just do what he always did before, act like he's listening, say nothing, and then just act like it never happened the next time he saw him.
Mm.
And all
Yeah.
these kids want, or what's been expressed to me by my kids, it's like, and how I felt as an adult child is I just want to feel understood by you. I remember
Validation too, because he
validation.
can't just sit there and just listen. That's what
Right.
he was doing. He was listening, maybe, but not saying anything.
Because even if it's something like my son would be talking and telling me how it affected him, and I could feel my defenses rising,
Mm-hmm.
and I would just be like, say a word. His pain is real, that he is expressing to me right now. That is a gift. So the part of me that was like, I didn't mean it. I like swallow that. If you can just control your need to defend yourself and really hear, then you can, or at least that's my experience. Then my apologies are actually sincere because I heard them to the point where I could empathize with their pain.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah. So Chrissy, have you and your girls become closer? I mean, you guys were pretty close in the beginning, but do you think that there's now this undeniable bond between you guys now because you went through this together?
We
You guys
did.
went through this together.
Interesting enough, though, when we moved back here and I took that shit job for a year, we were still married. And that's when everything was just going downhill.
Ooh.
And it was a bad year. And I know I was a raging bitch for a year because at that point I was working a full-time job, but then I was still expected to do the laundry and cook. And, I had this hypersexual husband. So it's like, oh, okay, let me get to that too. All these things are happening. And you're like, oh my God, I'm doing everything and raising the kids. And he's sitting there on his little leather recliner on his phone all day. And you're like, can't you cook a meal? Like he was able to cook. He was able to do things, but he just wouldn't. He would even leave his plate on the side of the sink. And it's like, you can't even put it in the dishwasher to help me just a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
So I was losing respect left and right. And I know for a fact, like 100%, I could never deny this, that I took it out on my kids too. Not that I meant to, but I did. I was just so upset with everything. I hated everyone. I hated my dogs. I love my dogs, but I hated them. I just hated life. I was miserable during that time. And I know I was barking at people. I would be nice to people outside, but then it was so hard to come home. And when I apologized to my kids, I was like, look, I know life was shitty. I know that. And I'm so sorry that I put you through that. But, we're crying. But anyway, I would sit in my car for like a half an hour after work because I didn't want to go home. And, and I said, girls, it is not because of you three at all. So now is when you make me laugh.
Well, I just wanted to say thank you for being vulnerable and sharing that with us, because this myth of the perfect mother, we need to smash that myth.
Oh, yeah.
And you were doing the best you could.
Yeah. I was a caretaker. I've got the 3 kids, but then I felt like I had 4 kids. And one was a teenage boy, which just was so hard. 2 dogs and a full-time job now, which I wasn't used to working a full-time job, but then you're doing it.
Yeah, you went from 0 to 100 pretty fast. That's a lot of adjustment too.
Yeah.
And then you're grieving also for a life you once had.
I still grieve that. I'll be honest with you. I miss my California life sometimes. I miss my friends. I miss the sun. I miss my fucking pool. I just miss all of it. But you know what? I like my life now. I'm happier, and things are good. But you miss that old part of it. You miss the partnership you had. And, I will say he was my best friend. He was my very best friend. Lots of laughs. We knew each other's jokes. We knew everything. And it was a beautiful thing until it wasn't. Mm-hmm. One day changed it in a snap.
Wow.
That's fun. Then you pick up the pieces.
Yes, you do.
because we don't have a choice, but we do it. And we do it with a smile on our face and do it for the kids.
I'm lagging behind you guys. I'm only not even 2 years yet. So I'm still trying to get my shit together. But I think I did a pretty good job so far.
You're doing a very good job.
Yes. Next month it will be my 4 years for me.
Oh, we're around the same time then. I was just going to ask, do you feel like it's been 4 years, or do you feel like it was just last year, or does it feel like you're so behind it that it's 10 years ago?
Sometimes I'll be like, oh my God, it feels like yesterday. And sometimes I'm like, only 4 years. I feel like it's been like this for 10 years. There's days that I feel like I'm doing well in my recovery, and there's days that I don't. So maybe when I don't, I'm more hard on myself. Like, it's been 4 years. I should be here by now. And then other times I'm like, oh my God, I've lived a whole lifetime in 4 years. So it's probably depending on my mood, if I'm perceiving it in a kinder way toward myself or not.
How long were you married?
Over 25 years.
Wow. Yeah, that's a long time.
Yeah.
It's interesting because you were 25. Kim, you were about 20?
We were together for almost 21, but he left us after our 19th year.
Okay. We were happily for 10, but then we were still married for 12. I don't think it matters how long you were married, but I just feel like, did I waste all that time? Whether it's 5 years,
every day,
25, right? You're like, those were my best years. You know what I mean?
Thanks for throwing me out into the singles world in my mid-50s, bitch.
Yeah, right.
Right?
I just kept choosing our memories, our relationship. I kept choosing the family dynamics that we had created, or mainly I created, and what we were still planning for the future, and all those plans that we had. And so it was a little weird when I got the sudden news.
Yeah.
It's interesting how hearing you talk, it's like we were always planning for our future. Like, we'll be empty nesters, and then we're going to travel and be a dating couple again instead of crazy parents. And he was planning something completely different. He was already separating finances and this and that and creating a whole new life while I was still creating our future together. He was already creating a future without me.
Yeah.
And that has happened to other family and friends that I know, where people created a whole nother life behind their back, and then one day was like, all right, bye. And they knew where they were going, and the partner they left was like, where am I? What am I going, like, scrambling. I just think that's such an unfair, shitty way to do things.
Do you know what that's like? It's like when you hear of a man having a second family, right? Like, they just have this whole other life that you don't know about. You're just the mom and the wife, wrangling the house, handling everything, and then you just get gobsmacked. It's not fair. It's not fair at all. Bunch of bullshit.
I just think, like, just to waste all that and then not try or make an effort is, it's like, why'd you waste my time?
Right.
Why'd you do this with me in the first place? What was the point?
And, you kind of do feel that way, but then I don't want to regret it. I don't want to regret any of it, because then my kids and I wouldn't be where we are right now.
I was just telling Angela, I'm sick of hearing myself. I wanted to be over it. I kept even telling my therapist, I want it to be a year from now. I want it to be, well, what do you think is going to happen in a year? I'm like, I'll be over it.
Everybody is at their own pace.
Right. And it's not quite the case. I'm over a lot of things. I was over him really immediately after he left. I realized who he is and how he just masked that for so many years. There was no remorse.
That's interesting. Angela, did your husband have remorse?
No, not mine.
It's funny that you use that word, because how the marriage ended is our son saw him with another woman and called me, and I confronted him, and he lied. And so I thought, okay, we'll go to counseling and see if we can't, I just thought he's having an affair. But then my other son was like, oh no, I caught him 10 years ago. So yeah, all these things were being uncovered to where he had just been with multiple people. So for at least, I don't know, before that 10 years, I don't know, could have been our whole marriage? I really don't know. But I remember I was like, who is this person that I've shared a bed with, raised kids with? I told my secrets to a stranger, and it was really scary. And I called the hospital and I said, I really don't want him to come back home. I can't live with somebody that I don't trust who can lie this easily to me. But I'm afraid because he's in a fragile state. And, here I am still like trying to protect. I don't want to make him feel abandoned in his most fragile state. And she said, oh, no. When I asked him who he wanted to be with, he said he doesn't want to have to choose. And she said, and he shows no remorse. So I was like, thank you. You made my decision a lot easier. I can make this decision guilt-free.
Absolutely.
So no remorse.
Isn't that crazy?
Psychologist was just like, I thought of when you said that you were raising 4, she said, your job of trying to raise him is over.
Wow.
And I was like, ouch, like, okay, I've been an enabler. I took over mommy role. A lot of hard truths.
Yeah. I'm so sorry. I feel bad that you had to go through that. I'm sorry.
Thank you. I'm sorry for what you went through. I'm sorry, Kimmy, for what you went through, and our kids. I was an adult when I made the decision to be in a relationship with him. My kids didn't. These are the consequences of the decisions that I made. I made the best decisions with what I knew. Wasn't very good, but it is what it is. But the kids, I feel the worst for them.
Yeah. But you were kind of bamboozled, and that's what you made your decisions on, is what was presented to you. This great guy, and he was your husband, and love, and
that's
well, you just kind of run with it.
I did the best because I was very gracious, like, well, nobody's perfect. When he would do things that were red flags, I'd be like, well, I'm not perfect.
Right.
And he loves me for who I am. That's what I told myself. And so I'm going to love him for the way he is. I didn't know. I'm learning so much now. Learning about narcissism has been very helpful because their targets are trusting. They give not just second chances, a million chances, and forgiving. And I said, well, those are qualities I love about myself. I don't want to be a untrusting person. I don't want to be a non-forgiving person. Yeah. But what I realized what I didn't have is boundaries. So when you are a person like that and you don't have boundaries, you are a target for people who will take advantage of you. Wow. So I'm learning all I can about boundaries right now because I don't ever want to be anybody else's target again.
Go you.
Yeah. Go us.
Go us. Yeah. Okay, I have a question for both of you.
Okay.
So the first time that he cheated, I was able to pull myself outside of our relationship and look down on it and really focus on it. And I saw things that I had done wrong too. Like, like you just said, Angela, like, I'm not perfect. We're not perfect. Nobody's perfect. But I looked and I was like, okay, I was a little like this, and maybe I should have done a little more like that. I realized this is how couples pull away. I contributed to that. And that's why let's try again. Let's go to therapy and see if we can fix this. And I will focus on what I'm doing. He can focus what he's doing. And then we can focus on what we're doing. Did you ever do that too?
Doing that for a year now.
Oh.
And even while we were in the relationship, because that's why I kept choosing to stay. I'm not perfect. This is what I've contributed. What can I change about me? Then I overcompensated and changed me too much. And I had boundaries, but they kept getting chipped away at and chipped away at and chipped away at. And so, there's a lot of stuff that I contributed to the ending of this. One, I didn't speak up for myself loud enough. Definitely. I didn't stand my ground when I was like, no, this isn't what I want to do. I didn't want to leave Chicago. I didn't want to come to Seattle. I should have ended it there. I should have ended it.
I didn't know that.
Girl, I said, please, anywhere but the Pacific Northwest. I've been here several times already. I know what it's like. It's like, can we anywhere? Oh no, but like just made all these like selling points, and not listening to me, not listening to, okay, what is it about Seattle that you don't like? And never asked me those questions. Never asked me, why do you hate it so much? Or like, what's going on? Let's really have a talk about this. Tell me how you feeling, or let's dig deeper. And boo on me for not doing that as well. But at the time I didn't know. And I just was kind of shut down, and was like, okay, this is what we're doing for our relationship. And then it was the house. Well, I want to buy a house. Well, I don't want to buy a house. And these are the reasons why I don't want to buy a house. Could be not only now am I going to a place I don't want to go to, now I'm going to feel trapped there if I buy a house. Like I literally was saying that. I was really like, I'm going to feel trapped. Didn't care that I was going to feel that way. Didn't want to explore that. Didn't want to not compromise, but let's negotiate this. It was none of that. And again, boo on me for not being more like, listen to what I'm saying to you. But I realize now that there was more behind not to wanting to come to Seattle besides weather. I realized by talking with a partner who actually listens to me that there was a lot of emotional baggage that came with it too that I didn't realize.
Wow.
You know, my dad left me for Seattle. Right? When he lived in San Diego, he didn't have to move to Seattle. He was my only respite. Like every other weekend, every weekend I'd go hang out with my dad. And that was a nice way to get away from the chaos that was in my home. And then it wasn't like he lost a job and found one in Seattle. He just wanted to move to Seattle because that's where he wanted to be. Didn't think about abandoning me or leaving me with people that were just not fun to live with. So there was all of that too. And I didn't even realize it until maybe like a couple of months ago, to be honest.
Wow. Kim, you just blew me away. I forgot he'd gone to Seattle. And that completely makes sense why you would think Seattle is this evil place. You were young.
I was only 10. It was like, wow, the adult that is the one that started me in roller skating and did things with me on the weekends and took me to movies and McDonald's 24/7. What do you want to eat? McDonald's, of course. So left me there, left me with all of that. And honestly, I didn't even put that together till like just a couple of months ago.
How'd it feel when you figured that out?
It actually made me realize that Seattle isn't a horrible place. It never was. It's a very lovely place to live in. But it made me realize, oh, there was more to it than just me saying I don't like the weather.
Yeah.
There's a lot more, and I didn't realize it. And at the time, I just couldn't voice that because I didn't know.
Yeah. Like you felt your dad chose Seattle over you.
Yeah. And his own happiness.
Right.
And that's what your ex did. He chose Seattle and his own happiness over you.
Yep.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah.
Angela just shot.
Yeah. Thanks. I didn't even think about that either.
I just want to take that 10-year-old Kimmy and give her the biggest hug. And I want to take her to McDonald's. And I'm so sorry that happened to you, honey, but we got you now.
Yeah. Well, thank you.
And that hug would be in the middle of a roller skating rink. Just she would have loved that.
Yeah. I need that disco ball too.
Right.
Yep.
Oh, Kim, I'm sorry, honey.
How did that happen? It's about you.
It's about all of us. This is great.
Yeah.
This is about.
But that's why we have this show. We just want to reach out to other people. Sometimes you don't realize why you're doing what you are doing, but your little girl or little boy intuition is telling you there's something there. Listen to yourself, investigate that, sit in that emotion, and figure out what's going on.
Yeah.
Wow.
Were you going to say something?
Oh, I just have something funny to tell you. The other couple months ago, my daughter said, oh yeah, remember Mom, we were going to take you to Bora Bora for your 50th birthday party. And I was like, yeah, I remember. But she was like, yeah, but you couldn't go because now you're Bora Bora. That's like the funniest thing ever. It's like, if that doesn't tell you how much my life has changed, and it's funny.
Yeah.
Whatever works, right?
Well, I love the sense of humor, like this kind of sense of humor that we can have, that we can laugh about these things that sometimes we're crying about, because we can't just cry all the time. We gotta laugh too.
Absolutely.
So Chrissy, I want to ask you, is there any of your hard-earned wisdom that you'd like to share?
I think it's really about that financial independence. Put some money away. I do think that's important for any young person, male or female, of or anybody. Also, if you're not a good communicator, learn how to be a communicator.
That's
whether
great.
you're in
100%.
therapy. Yeah, some people don't know how to communicate, and I didn't for a while too. I would just take it, like, oh, okay, whatever. What I'm supposed to do? Like you said, Kim, you're learning boundaries, right? We all need those boundaries with everybody, with our partner, our kids, our parents, everybody. I think it's all about that communication. So, yeah.
Great advice.
I have no more knowledge. That's it. I'm out.
Oh gosh. Well, this has been awesome.
Yeah.
I'm so glad to meet you.
You too.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for sharing your story.
Thank you for having me.
You are welcome.
This was fun.
Thank you for listening to the Two Bitter Babes podcast. Please take a moment to follow, review, and share with your bitter besties. And remember, you are not alone.